Welcome to the Biz Breaks Podcast. I am Kevin, the Credit Crusher, along with my beautiful co-host, Nykeia Neal, the financial expert, and we have the privilege, honor, and pleasure of having one of our favorites, Ikeyma Wells, on. We're going to talk about what she does and how she does it in just a little bit. As you all know, we are the Biz Breaks Podcast, where we have real talk with real entrepreneurs, and we're here on our new day, same time but new day. This is where we'll be from now on. Wednesdays at 1 p.m. and we'll talk a little bit about that later. So, Ikeyma,
Yes.
welcome to the Biz Breaks podcast.
Thank you for having me.
So what we do here is we have, like I said, real talk with real entrepreneurs. We get into conversations. It's not an interview, nothing formal. It's just a conversation about your entrepreneurial journey, and it happens no matter where you are in that journey. So, but we want to give you just a chance to talk a little bit about the thing because you do so many things and you do them so well. So talk about what you do as an entrepreneur.
I'm sorry, say that again.
So tell us about what you do as an entrepreneur. Who is Ikeyma Wells and what does she do?
Okay, so as an entrepreneur, originally, I started my entrepreneur life as a makeup artist. So I did makeup for like 5 years, 6 years. I stopped doing makeup when I started doing the CMOS because I just didn't have any time for it. And I always had a 9 to 5. So I started off with the makeup. I was a makeup artist. I did proms. I did weddings. I did friends' makeup, family, all kinds of stuff. But that never really progressed into something that was very, very financially beneficial. But it was very satisfying personally. So that was more of a personal entrepreneur endeavor that I did because I'm originally an artist and I wanted to do art. And I was like, who's going to buy my art? So then I was like, let me do makeup. And I just did it. And that's a long story as well. But then I was really ready to enter the entrepreneur world, and I was mentally ready, I was financially ready, and I didn't know what I wanted to do at the time. I had all these ideas. I had a million ideas of what I wanted to do as an entrepreneur, countless. Um, but they none of them like grabbed at my heartstrings the way it should be. So I asked God, I said, God, whatever it is that you want me to do, it's not what I'm doing right now. But when it comes up and when an opportunity presents itself to me, I promise you that I'm going to jump on it. I just need you to let me know that this is it. So when COVID had started, like everything had happened like perfectly. I just got the finances that I need in order to start a business. I was looking, I was searching, I was kind of like listening to God, listening to people, watching everything, looking for this sign of what it is that I should be doing. So when COVID had came around, this is all in like a 2 week time span. When COVID had came around, I had already been trying to get my hands on CMOS for my own personal reasons. So I already had did an extensive like research on CMOS, so I knew everything about it. I've been trying to get it, and every time I would try to get it, I just wouldn't be able to find it. Then I would give up. Then I would think about it again, and then I would try to find it again. So when COVID had came around, they were like the symptoms was respiratory, and all the symptoms of COVID kind of like clicked with me with CMOS and what CMOS, the benefits of CMOS were. So for my own personal reasons, I like went crazy trying to find CMOS. I mean, I have like a whole list. I have a paper of all these natural food stores all over the United States, trying to find a CMOS gel because I didn't know enough about it at that time that the gel was just made from the natural sea moss, the dry sea moss. Everybody had like the dry sea moss, but nobody had the gel. So I'm like looking all over for the CMOS gel. So at the time, and I'm very persistent. So when I tell you, I was like looking in Ohio, Nevada, like just all these natural food stores. I was Googling it, who has CMOS. All these stores had CMOS, but they had raw CMOS, not CMOS gel. I was looking for the CMOS gel specifically because that's what I knew. I knew about the CMOS gel. So the wheels start turning in my head and everything, and I'm looking for this CMOS like crazy. I'm like, I can't be the only one looking for this CMOS like crazy. And also, like, whatever I did had to be a niche. Like, it had to be something that nobody else was doing. That was the only way I knew that it would keep my interest, because I got very uninterested in things really fast when I seen that other people was just doing the same thing, when people was just jumping on the train, when it was a fad, when it was like something that everybody did. And that's a bunch of ideas that I had in the past. It was something that everybody was doing. It was something that I was interested in, but it was also like so uninteresting because everybody was doing it. The CMOS at the time, nobody was doing it. I feel like it was my original idea, but obviously I'm not the only person that thinks the way I think. I'm not the only human being on this planet. So a lot of wheels was turning in people's head at the same time. They had already known the benefits of CMOS, so I wasn't the only one, but I was one of the first, I feel like. So I said, forget it. I'm going to make this CMOS myself. That same day that I said I'm going to make the CMOS myself, I guess, you know how iPhones have the algorithms?
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, this CMOS guy page popped up. I mean, I wasn't searching Instagram. I was searching the internet.
And that's how we know Instagram is listening to our conversation.
Right.
That metaverse that everybody's talking about, it's Instagram.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, it does, for sure. So then this guy page, and me and him are still friends. His name is Chef something. He's a chef. So his page popped up and he had CMOS gel. So I jumped in his DM. I'm like, I want to buy some CMOS from you. How much does it cost? Da da da. He told me. At the same time, the wheels in my head already turning, and just in a matter of seconds, I had asked him. I said, "So, how are you making this? Are you making this yourself?" And he said, "Yeah, I'm making it myself." I said, "Okay." I said, "Never mind. I don't want it. I'm gonna just make it for myself." And he was like, "Okay." I went to the store, but my thing was I'm gonna make it for myself and everybody else too.
Right.
So I went to the store. I bought me 3 bags of CMOS. From the natural food store. I had already became friends with them within the 2 weeks that I had been searching for the CMOS. I had already became friends with the people at the natural food store. This is the natural food store that I actually have my CMOS at now, which is like 2 blocks from here. So I had already became friends with Mindy. Mindy had already fell in love with me, and I fell in love with Mindy. And I was like, Mindy, I'm coming around here for some CMOS. I'm coming around here. I'm getting the CMOS right now. She held the 3 bags of CMOS for me because they was selling out like crazy. Like the CMOS was selling out like crazy. I wasn't the only one that was like, you know, looking for the CMOS, buying the CMOS, understanding the benefits of CMOS and what it did for you so far as your respiratory system, your digestive system, and it's really good for like cold and flus and things like that. Those were all the symptoms of COVID. So I said, hold me 3 bags of CMOS. I went around there, and the whole time I'm also like documenting it too. For whatever reason, I'm like documenting it on my personal page. I'm letting everybody know what I'm doing. I'm taking pictures. I'm like, I'm about to go home and make this CMOS. I went home. I videotaped me first making my first batch of CMOS. It's all on video. I was making it. I videotaped like my first trial batch. I was like, oh goodness, what is this? It was kind of lumpy. I was like, all right, next time I'm gonna make it a little smoother. Next time I made it a little smoother. I'm very artistic, so I see visually. So I did a really good presentation, like taking pictures of them, and I just slapped them on my page. Just put them on my page. Within minutes, everybody was in my DM. Everybody wanted it. Like I was selling hundreds and hundreds of jars of CMOS like within days, within weeks. within months. Like it was just like, it was nonstop. And at that time, I was still one of the first people that had it, like in Philadelphia. And even in the area, like once I had got my business page up and running, and I had people from all over the United States jumping in my DM and ordering it, and everything was through DM, everything through DM, text message, email.
Has that changed? Has that changed at all since the pandemic? Like, has been, I don't know, I don't know politically correct if it's over or not. I don't know, but has it changed at all? Like, as a result of it, us not being in lockdown, at least.
So far as like the business.
Yeah, like as people still like, is it still as high demand now?
It's still as high demand for sure, but there's more outlets for people to buy it.
Oh, okay.
So once people saw that it sold and it was a good business opportunity, people definitely jumped on the train like it wasn't nobody's business. Everybody had CMOS, and they was and for me, like everybody would come to me like, well, I'm getting it from you because it really looks good. Your presentation is well. You look clean. I would do it in my kitchen and stuff like that. People would see how I lived, and then I saw people, they was just doing any old thing, you know?
I apologize for cutting you off. So I never heard of CMOS in the form that you have it until we met. And but now I see it everywhere. They sell it on the streets. You can go to the Sunoco gas station and there's somebody with a table selling CMOS on the table. So there must be some connection, as you said. There must be some connection to it and COVID and it helping prevent COVID. I think people are using CMOS instead of getting vaccine, which is fine with me. I'm cool with that. So interesting enough. So before we go any further, you have a really interesting name for your company. Tell the people what the name is.
So it's Kimochi. It could be pronounced quite a few ways. But basically I just Googled. I didn't have any idea what I wanted to name my business, so I Googled names that match Ikeyma, my name. Right. And one of the first things that came up was Kimochi. And Kimochi means good feeling of the mind, spirit, and heart as one. Is a Japanese word, and that is the definition of it. And when it came up and I researched it, and I seen that there was no business with that name. I loved the name. I'm different, so it was different, and I liked that about it. And I just went with it. I was like, that's my business name.
And I asked that on purpose because, like I said, we're talking about entrepreneurship, and we're talking to an audience of people who may be entrepreneurs, maybe just coming into the entrepreneur space, maybe deciding on what to name their products or their businesses. And I thought this is a great story because I know the story prior to the audience meeting me, but I think it's a great story because a lot of people come to me and they say, I don't know what to name my business. And I've said, you think of something that embodies the spirit of what you're doing. Don't just slap together a name, because that thing is going to go long beyond possibly you, right? Right. And so I think the name of your business is really interesting, and you can really tell the spirit and the passion that you have behind it because you delivered in the name, you delivered in your delivery, your pages. You killing it on social media.
Thank you. Yes.
People seem to really,
people seem to really vibe with me. They like me.
Because you got a great spirit, right?
Thank you. And that was the whole thing, like with the name was like perfect. I was like, what? It was all just like God. It was God just like, here you go, here you go, here you go. Because I was like, good feeling of the mind, spirit, and heart, because it was never just supposed to be about CMOS, even though the CMOS had taken precedent even to this day. But even right now, I am like, okay, well, I have to find, especially with the CMOS slowing down, as I said, so many people sell it. People have so many outlets to get it. So even though the demand is still the same, people just have more options of where to get it. So my time is definitely a little less as it was before. And also I make it at the store, so a lot of my customers would go there, which is perfect, because like it was point in times where it was just too much. You know, like I was like completely overwhelmed, you know, which is a good thing, you know, business wise, but you know, mentally you still got to say, okay, wait a minute, this is too much. So I would take a break and then I would go right back to it. But now I'm going to definitely like get into all those other things, because the name, my web. So I initially got a website, but it didn't work out with the guy. He just wanted more money and more money and more money to do the things that he originally was supposed to do, and he ran out of business, and I see why. He wasn't a good businessman, wasn't a good person. Karma. But you know, at the time where he was doing my website, they was running out of business. Like when I was emailing him about what is going on, all of a sudden I seen this thing pop up on Instagram, and he's like, yeah, we're going out of business, this, that, explaining why and everything. And I said, it's because you're a bad business person. But so I should have had a website a long time ago, but that whole thing like left a bad taste in my mouth. And then I had tried to do a website with another guy, and that didn't work out. So I was like, I'm just going to do it on Instagram for now, and I'll figure it out later. But I'm definitely going to get a website soon. But my website name is Find Your Kimochi, right? And the reason why it's named that is because, you know, kimochi means the good feeling of your mind, spirit, and heart as one. So on that website, you were able to find your kimochi. So it could be CMOS. I'm doing I also trademarked all of the things that I was going to do right from the bat, because I know me, and I said, if I put my money out here, I put all this effort into trademarking, then I'm going to do it. So I trademarked the CMOS. I trademarked the soap. I trademarked holistic products, topical products.
So do you sell those other products?
Pause. Kevin did my trademarks for me. Yes, he did. Didn't you?
I definitely did.
Yeah, he surely did. Yeah.
Do you have any other products now, or is that in the works?
That's in the works. And as I said, I trademarked them because I said it's God's timing. As I said, the CMOS had just taken precedent. I didn't have time to do the rest of the stuff, but that's what I wanted to. That's the whole thing. Like, so you'll be able to get candles. You'll be able to get all kinds of things from off my website. I'm an artist. I definitely want to do like some original art and put it up there. So you'll be able to go to that website and kind of just find your kimochi, you know, find your good feeling, mind, spirit, and heart. If it's there, you should be able to find it.
I like that. Find your kimochi.
Do you have a team of people that is helping you make these products?
No. From day one, I have single-handedly made thousands and thousands and thousands of jars of CMOS. I've tried, and it just like nobody seems. People don't want. So I did accounting for 16 years. And then when COVID happened, I had left my job for a few months. And when I came back, two things had happened. Accounting don't stop. So they had placed this other girl in my position. And then another thing happened, that the section where I was working specifically was not doing financially well. So they sold it, right? So I do recruiting now. And I've done recruiting since October of 2020, right? But I've done accounting for 16 years, and I'm going to school for accounting to get my degree, because I also want that to be, that's also part of my entrepreneur plan as well, finances. So since I've been in accounting for so long, like finances and things like that is something that comes very natural for me. When it came to running a business, I knew I could do it because I've done accounting and ran other people, this other company. I worked for them for 15 years. The initial company that I worked for 15 years, I helped run that company, you know, for all that time. So I had no doubt in my mind, you know, what I was capable of doing. But finances is definitely like a part. I want to educate our people about finances, and Yes, and I just got my insurance license, which came naturally as well. My girlfriend over here, she got hers as well. Deja Rowe. Look out for Deja Rowe.
Oh, she's
Deja Rowe also is opening a business called Pretty Within. That's a whole nother story. Y'all can interview her another time.
It's Ikeyma time. It's Kimochi time.
But I'm always putting my people on. I feel like if you try and take the whole shine yourself, God is he's not gonna bless that,
Mm-hmm.
So
no true words have ever been spoken. So Kim, how are you doing it all by yourself? How are you and working? Now we know that. How are you doing?
I'm a very outgoing person. I've noticed this about myself. I'm just very outgoing. I have a lot of so CMOS gives you energy as well. I do feel like the CMOS definitely gives me lots of energy. But even prior to that, when I look back on my life, I've always did multiple things. I've always kept busy. And when I'm not busy, I've always figured out ways to be busy, So it's just natural for me. But I would imagine that I read stories about entrepreneurs having 50 and 60 businesses and things like that. Just imagine, or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like some people just have, I'm exaggerating maybe, but entrepreneurs having like all these multiple businesses, and we're talking about multi-million-dollar business. They got to be a whole lot busier than me, So for some people, it just comes natural. For me, it's a lot of work, but I could work from the time I get up until the time I go to sleep every day, But it wears me out sometimes, and I got to take breaks, and I do. But it's just who I am.
It's your mindset. You went bigger.
So nice. We got to get a hold of a batch of this CMOS.
Sure.
I need that energy. I need energy. Can you give me a special batch that helps me do social media? Get energized for social media. Is that social media CMOS?
Listen, I could get you a special batch. I sure can. And CMOS is also really good for men. CMOS, a lot of men use CMOS.
To make you strong like bull.
Yeah,
I knew you were going to say something like that, Kev. I knew it.
That it is true though. I know people who has personally thanked me, it's changed their whole life around. They will eat CMOS every day for the rest of their lives because they I don't need to do this, I don't need that. It comes natural for me now. So yeah.
I do have a question about CMOS. Does it have a shelf life? Like if you get CMOS, how long does it last in the refrigerator? Because I had a little debate with people, and I'm like, everything has everything expires at some point in time.
Food.
Kevin, but yeah, so
it's food, and not only that, it's seafood. But it is CMOS is very resilient. Like CMOS, if you see, if you go to a beach, it's CMOS everywhere. It's sitting there in the sun, and you can actually eat it. You can still eat it, But but the shelf life of CMOS is about 30 days, right? But the shelf life is not the freshness of it. The shelf life is the mineral value of it. So the reason why you're eating CMOS is because CMOS has 92 of the 102 minerals that the body is composed of, and that's why CMOS is so good for you, and it works for so many different things because it makes your body function on an optimal level because it's giving you all the things that you are missing in your diet in one place, right? And 2 tablespoons a day, right?
2 tablespoons a day. Keep the doctor away.
Exactly. 2 tablespoons a day. Keep the doctor away. Thank you. I'm gonna coin that, and I'm gonna say, this is where I got it from.
No, you got it.
So it is 30. It is 30 days. So of course I've made countless jars of CMOS. So CMOS has been in my refrigerator for longer than 30 days, and I've noticed that it hadn't went bad. So there's a lot of different things like the fruits. The temperature of your refrigerator and things like that. Like your CMOS could last longer than 30 days so far as its freshness, but the mineral value after 30 days, then CMOS still has lots of vitamins, it has fiber and things like that. But 30 days, definitely, I would just say 30 days, Just don't use it anymore. As I said, I've had sea moss in my refrigerator longer than 30 days, and a lot of people I know, they don't pay attention to that 30-day. When it gets when it rank, when it looks like it's ready to go.
Yeah. I got peanut butter been in my cabinet for 2 years.
Right.
It's creamy.
People
I'm still
used
eating.
to, when people first, it didn't matter how much I said it has to stay refrigerated. They would put it in their cabinets and stuff, and then call me like, my sea moss is bad. And I'm like,
did you refrigerate?
Yes. I'm like, you're putting sea moss, you're putting seafood in your cabinet. Just think about
That's a good way that you said it. Like,
but tuna,
make that connection.
Tuna fish is seafood. I keep that in the cabinet.
What is it?
Tuna fish. Maybe not the same.
But it's canned.
Don't
so I'm sure that we could find a way to make the shelf life of sea moss a lot longer if you airtight it and can it like a canned food. Yeah. I'm positive you can.
So how are you delivering? Is it in juice? I have never had sea moss. I gotta be honest with you. Is it in juice? What is it in gel? What is it in ice cream? What are you putting in?
So listen, I was going to make sea moss ice cream. I wanted to make sea moss water ice, and like if I open up a store, I'm gonna just do a whole bunch. But you'll see on the internet, people are doing all kinds of stuff with sea moss right now. So I wouldn't be the only one. Mm-hmm. But me personally, I take it straight to the head, 2 tablespoons, or I'm a coffee drinker, so a lot of times I'll put it in my coffee.
Okay.
But you can mix it. Like a lot of people be like, I can't take the texture. The texture is just too much for me. Mm-hmm. But you can consume it in so many different ways. You don't have to just take it down. You can put it in almost any food, but like you know, foods that it can mix with, creamy foods, oatmeal, applesauce, yogurt, tea, coffee. You know, it's also a natural thickener, like thickening agent. So like the Caribbeans, people who really, really know sea moss, they use it like on an everyday kind of like basis. Like they use it to thicken their food, make their food thicker. It's a natural like gelatin. So they use it in all kinds of ways. But you can use it to like make your food thick. Like if you're making a gravy or something and you want a thickener instead of flour, you can put some sea moss in there. You know,
so how would you describe the taste? Like not the ones that's because I've seen the ones that like have like strawberry or this and that. But if you just like sea moss without any added like taste, how is that? How would you describe it?
So if you clean it well, it almost tastes like nothing, but it does have a taste. It's very interesting. Mm-hmm. Like it has a taste, but it doesn't. Now if you don't
like aloe vera.
Huh?
It's like aloe. Like aloe vera. Aloe vera gel.
Yeah. So like it's sea moss, but it kind of like doesn't taste like anything. Mm-hmm. Now if you don't clean it well, that's a whole different story. You're gonna get a bunch of funk in your mouth. You know, it's not gonna taste good. So you gotta clean it well. It has to be cleaned well. That's one thing about like what people liked about my sea moss initially, because you couldn't really taste it. It was cleaned very well. It was made very well. So I mean, it's just something you got to try. I will gift you, the both of you, a jar of sea moss so that you can give it a try.
I appreciate that. I was thinking how to give it to my daughter. She's 2. So
yes. So it's good for children.
Yeah.
Of course you would give them less, but it's good for children. It's good for everybody. It's food. Like a lot of people kind of like think that it's some type of medication or something. They be asking, well, how much am I supposed to take a day? And I'm like, it's really food. It's a superfood, you know, like it's definitely has like a ton of benefits, but it's still food.
Right.
It's something that God put on this earth for us that, you know, we can benefit from, that's not medication.
Right. Keep you off medication.
Right. Exactly.
That's a selling point right there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So Ikeyma, you told us before we came on that you had limited time, and I don't want to. So
say that again, because
you told us before we came on the live broadcast that we had limited time. Oh, so I don't know if we're close to the time that you have to go.
We have a couple more minutes.
Thank
you for reminding me.
No problem. So working and being an entrepreneur at the same time, because there are people who are in your position and they are struggling with what they do. can you give anybody any advice about that? How to handle both? You're working a full-time job, right?
Yes, I work a full-time job.
And full-time entrepreneur.
Yes. So initially I was doing work and entrepreneurism every single last day. And then eventually I made myself a schedule. So now I make my CMOS on certain days. Now I'll take orders anytime, but I'm not just going to like jump up and start making CMOS right after I got off of work. Like I was doing, because the money is there and you want it and people are ordering it and they like, well, I want it tomorrow. Mm-hmm. And I'll be like, okay. And I'll work all day and then I'll go home and make CMOS all night. So now, like everyone knows, my deliveries are Saturdays or Sundays, the weekends. Okay. All right. I have a couple more minutes.
No. I'm saying, can they hear you? Because that's loud.
It's a lot going on. So,
hey, listen.
So I deliver my CMOS on the weekends, so I'll make them at usually one time. So whether it's 50 jars of CMOS, whether it's 100 jars of CMOS, whether it's more, I have that one day that I make the CMOS. I'll deliver them on the weekend, and then the ones that I'm shipping, I'll ship on that Monday or that Tuesday, or sometimes I'll make some on a Monday. But I don't do it every day. I take orders every day, but I don't you have to make a schedule for yourself.
Mm-hmm. Schedule is everything.
And that worked for me. And for a while, I had the schedule. People weren't digging my schedule. They still wanted it. And I lost a lot of customers because of that, because they I want it right now.
People won't respect your time until you respect your time. Mm-hmm.
And they was like, well, I'll just go to somebody else. Or they'll text me back and like, I went to somebody else or whatever. And I'll be like, okay. And I'll never hear from them again, because they just like, well, we want somebody that does it every day. Right. And I'm like, well, you know what? I don't do it every day. So maybe you're just not my customer, and that's fine. But this is how I do it. And the people that respect that and the people that support me and things like that, they're totally okay. But I know people that has CMOS businesses that are way bigger than mine, and you got to wait weeks for their CMOS. You know what I'm saying? Like, for me, you just have to wait a week, which is not a lot. But it depends, like the person I'm talking about, they're really big or whatever. And people will wait weeks. They're like, I've been waiting weeks for my CMOS, So I'm like, y'all giving me a hard time about a couple of days,
That's okay. You're not going to be.
All right. So I got to go. But I also want to say that I also have my life insurance license that I just newly got. That's a new business entrepreneur. I want to go really hard with that. I hope we can talk more. I hope we can talk more about that. So that's definitely something I'm about to put. So now I got three. I got three jobs.
So if people wanted to find you for life insurance and or CMOS, and let's do we don't do or, and CMOS, where can they connect with you?
They can go to my personal page. It's Ikeyma, Ikeyma, 2 A's. Or they can go to my business page. It's Ike. And I made my business page. And people love my business page because my first name, of course, is Ike. I figured that it would be easy if people punched in Ike, right? So my business page is Ike.kimochi, my business name, .seamoss. So whether you pressing in my name or my business name, you should be able to see. I'm going to pop up.
Yep. Yes, you are.
Yeah.
Ikeyma, we thank you for your time. We know you're a very, very busy person. Doing big things. And anybody that sees you on Instagram knows you hustle hard.
I do. I'm a hustler.
Yeah.
Thank you, Nykeia. It was really nice to meet you.
It was nice meeting you too. I appreciate all the knowledge. Thank you.
You're welcome. I really hope we can talk again.
Absolutely.
We absolutely will have you on again because we want to talk about the life insurance part. Yeah.
All right.
Have a good one. And as everybody knows, we are the Biz Breaks Podcast.
I love it. I'm gonna be tuning in every week, no doubt.
We're gonna hold you to that promise.
All right. Thank y'all. Y'all have a blessed day.
You too.
All right.
So Nykeia, we still on. We're still talking to the people for a few more minutes. So that was for those of you who missed it, that was Ikeyma Wells from her Ike.kimochi.seamoss brand is really bubbling. Her IG page is Ikeymochi.seamoss. So if you guys want to see that, maybe I can put that here in the comments. It's at Ike.kimochi.seamoss. And so yeah, she's really doing it. It's amazing how she can hold down a full-time job, but that's sometimes entrepreneurship. And you know, I find it interesting when we talk to people who are holding down full-time jobs and doing their business and have the presence that she has.
That's power right there, baby.
Yeah, I need to get about a year's supply, because that's crazy.
I'll be tired.
And not only so, the way she is so present with her brand, I don't know how she does her job. She must, maybe her job is on autopilot. I don't know, but
I was about to say you should ask those questions, but
yeah,
you know, you can definitely follow up with her to get some points on your social media.
So sticking with that, were you ever at a place where you were doing both a full-time job and running your business?
I can't really say I was running my business when I had started. So when I started my entrepreneurial journey, I started my journey part-time in entrepreneurship and full-time in business, not really knowing what the part-time entrepreneurship was going to bring or do. I just knew that, and it wasn't so much about working a job of other people telling me what to do. I just knew that for me, my background was in behavioral health, and I used to be a case manager. I knew that wasn't it. Like, I could not see myself, like, you know, sometimes you got to look at the people that you work with in the future. Like, right. Okay, I see this older people has been here for this time. Do I want to be that? Like, do I want that life? And I was like, that's not me. I knew it was more. I know I had more to offer. So when I left, I jumped out the boat. Like, I didn't do it the quote unquote right way. Like, I didn't have a very good, well thought out plan. It was very scrappy, you know, from the beginning. I had money saved though, but I didn't have like a clear plan of what exactly it is I wanted to do. I knew I was working in finance. I knew I love helping people, and I figured it out stumbling along the way. You know, I've been in entrepreneurship full time since 2015.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I did, though. I told you this when you did my interview, that I did take a little gig, if you will, when things got really rocky. And it was rocky enough because I wasn't fully focused in my business the way I needed to be. But I got checked on that real quick. It was 2 months, and I was like, okay, nah, I'm not back to doing this again, working in the schools again. I got out of that, and I haven't looked back ever since. I've been able to maintain and then grow, you know. So everybody's journey is different. But I love the fact that, you know, with Ikeyma, she's like, listen, I like to do things. One of the things I think that we do get caught on is the multiple streams of income, and we all, you know, want to have a lot of different things. And it's hard to put your focus on so many different things too. But like you said, she has such high energy, and like that social media presence is using that to her advantage. Okay, I didn't have a website, but I'm gonna advertise my business like this. Right. And it's worked, you know, and now making a pivotal shift, understanding that the CMOS industry is saturated. So she's like, I'm going to add on more health things as it relates to what her name means. You know what I mean? Her business name. So I think that's awesome.
Yeah. So I started this business. I have always had a business running alongside of whatever I've done. Mm-hmm. But what this business particularly, I was doing it part-time, but only because I was putting the software, the systems, the processes in place so that I could jump. But Joanna wrote a book some time ago. I think it's
book's over there too.
Yeah, what was it? Before or How I Jumped?
Mm-hmm.
Or How She Jumped. I think the title is How She. Yeah, I think it's How She Jumped. But the short of it is, so I was putting some processes in place, but I, like you, didn't have that plan. So if I were giving advice to an entrepreneur right now who is working and thinking about going into business, I don't care how big or small the business is going to be, really write out a plan. And that plan needs to be a time plan, a financial plan, personnel plan, right? I really didn't put all of the capital plan, like how you were going to, what equipment and things you need.
Right.
Really plan those things out, because if I had thought about it, I did this twice, right? Shame on me. I had a pretty good job. And the problem is, because I had this business, I treated that job poorly.
Yeah.
And so I ended up leaving the job without being able to fully benefit from the things that the job could help me with on the business side, right? Like I left the first time I did it in my first business, I left the job probably a year before I should have. And if I could have leveraged that year into the money, the business that I had would have gone a lot further. This time I was solid, but I was like, you know what? I was actually, listen, hopefully they're not listening, but they let me go anyway. So I was using that job to do my business. I was using their paper because I was printing people's, so I was printing people's letters and mail. I was using their envelopes, their paper,
all their supplies.
All their supplies.
That's for all of us.
Right. Don't do that, by the way. So let me just say that to y'all. Let me just say that to you. You're stealing money and time from the business, and that's not cool.
No.
So I want to put that out there. But that's the reality. We have a real talk. That's the reality of my life, right? I use part of their resources. But not only was I stealing time and money from them, but I was also not doing the job that I was supposed to be doing. That I might have been able to reconcile that in my mind if I was doing a good job, but I also wasn't doing a good job. And I wasn't doing a good job because I thought, I don't care if they fire me, man. I got this business and it's gonna be perfect.
You're like, all right, well, you know what? One of the things I think is important too, at any point, especially the beginning too, but I think you need it in different stages, is having mentorship. Like you want to get mentored, if you can, in the particular business that you're entering into, somebody who's had success, you want to be able to find a mentor with that. And if you can't, then at least another successful business owner, you want to be able to ask, for tea, coffee, whatever, to take out and pick their brain and build a relationship, because that's important. And then that ongoing mentorship throughout. I can honestly say that I would not still be in business if I didn't have mentorship.
Sure.
I wouldn't. This is not I think we get lost too with I'm a muscle everything myself. I'm gonna do it from the rip, me, no help from. That's stupid. Like this is not a good way to do things. That's not a good way to do anything in life, really. Especially being in business. Just I'm gonna do it all myself, not ask for help, not try to. That's the hardest thing to do, is to your baby that you cultivated to like we were talking last time we was on the show, to get help, like to actually hire someone to delegate to do some things. I think as entrepreneurs, like one of the biggest things, challenges, if you will, I like to say problems, biggest challenges, but having that mentorship is really important.
Sure. Well, nice. It's been a pleasure.
Always.
So to the audience, again, we are now here on Wednesdays, the Biz Breaks Podcast. By the way, we have a new platform that we are streaming on live. In addition to all the old platforms, we have a Biz Breaks Podcast business page on Facebook, and there's a Biz Breaks group. So you can see us live on either one of those platforms, along with our pages, our personal pages. And of course, you can find us on the Premisien YouTube page. It's youtube.com/Premisien Credit Counseling. But you can also find us on the Biz Breaks Podcast Facebook page and the Biz Breaks Podcast Facebook group. So catch us there every Wednesday, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're having real talk with real entrepreneurs. I like to thank my guests, Ikeyma Wells, and love to thank my wonderful host, co-host, if you will, Nykeia Neal, the financial expert. We always have great conversations. The show is in.
I didn't do that all show. Can't let a show go by and not a little shoulder shimmy.
The shoulder shimmy. So stay tuned, guys. We have more interesting entrepreneurs coming your way. And again, you can catch Ikeyma at Ike.kimochi.seamoss on Instagram. So stay tuned until next Wednesday for the Biz Breaks Podcast.
Absolutely. Bye.